All rise.
You may be seated. Good morning to all our first years, parents, staff, and special guests seated here this morning. By way of introduction, my name is Nicole Morris, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies this morning. I would like to formally welcome you to the Vice-Chancellor's official welcome to all our first-time entering students. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to on stage this morning. Kindly please allow me to acknowledge the Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor Andrew Crouch, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic Professor Mary Jean Baxon, the University Registrar, Dr. Jody Sidras, our heads of schools, members of the senior management team, members of the academic community, and our Student Representative Council, and most importantly, you, of course. It is indeed remarkable in noting the university's growth. Indeed, this growth has been very, very exponential since 2014. When the doors of the institution opened to a modest intake of 135 students. Today, just 8 years later, we find ourselves welcoming exactly 1,246 new first-time students to the university. Now, to all of you seated here this morning, more specifically our students, I would like you to take an opportunity in giving yourselves a big round of applause. Now, many of you are asking, why? Well, for many of you, it's the first time you've left home. You've managed to traverse a very, very difficult time in the transition to online learning in the latter parts of your schooling career, navigating the challenging learning climate which presented itself because of the ever-prevalent COVID-19 pandemic and its restrictions. However, despite all the challenges, You all meritoriously achieved your academic pursuits in great stride, and I would like to thank each and all Plaatje University as your university of choice. Now, to the doting parents, guardians, and members of the community seated here this morning, I want you to be proud of yourselves. You worked hard in securing the educational futures of your children, and now you are seated here this morning witnessing a poignant moment in the lives of your children, and I'd humbly ask that all our first-year students give your parents, guardians, or members in your community a warm round of applause. At this moment, I would now like to call upon the SPU choir. The SPU choir will be serenading us this morning with a musical interlude. We'll wait. Thank you. Thank you very much to the SBU choir. I encourage you all, of course, if you've got talent, to please get involved in the SBU choir. In formally opening the event, I would like to humbly welcome our Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor Andrew Crouch, to the podium to formally welcome you to Sol Plaatje University.
Thank you, Ms. Morris, Dean of Students. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, members of the executive team, who were already welcomed by colleagues this morning. A special word of welcome to you, the audience. If there are members of council here today, welcome. Members of the academic corps that participating in the procession today, our support and professional staff that are here, that have assisted in the organization and arrangement today, President of the SRC and members of the SRC, special guests, parents, spouses, friends, families, and last but not least, our first-year students. A very, very special welcome to you, the class of 2022. Not only those of you who are here today, but also those of you who are logged in virtually, because you're not the only ones who in fact are attending this presentation here today. I would also like to extend a special thank you to the team who has made all these arrangements possible. And I'd like us to give them a special applause for all the arrangements. Thank you. Now today is for me a very, very special event, because it is not only the welcome day of our class of 2022, but it is the first face-to-face meeting that we have had in the last 2 years as a public event. You know that due to COVID, we were unable to have events of this type. And I'd like to think that going forward, we would have to continue having these types of events as a demonstration that we are returning to normality. But it does not mean, ladies and gentlemen, that we should not be careful. As we're sitting here today, there are many that are not with us because of COVID. And I think we must remember them, because in remembering them, it will mean that we will be more careful about how we do things, how we interact with people, and our own health. So protect yourself, make sure you wear your mask, make sure that you sanitize, and make sure that you do everything possible to protect yourself and to protect those around you. The fact that we are here, the fact that we can congregate here today, is in fact a miracle in itself. I'd like to address the students. You are a generation of students and the people that sit here. You have navigated that COVID-19 crisis. You've navigated that epidemic, and you've navigated its challenges. So in effect, it makes you special, very, very special. For you to have come thus far, you've relied not only on your own intellect, your own drive, your own determination to succeed as individuals, but you've relied on a support system. Your teachers, your colleagues, your friends, your parents, maybe the people that looked after you, the people that supported you on this journey. And some of you have been sponsored so also your donors. So I'd like you, as the new class of 2022, to give those that have supported you a special applause. Without their support and their help, you would probably have faltered along the way. So the appreciation you've given them now, I don't think it's enough. I want to hear it more boisterously. Please. Thank you. Now, I started off by saying that you survived COVID. We've all survived COVID. That's why we're here. But you are a special group of young people. You're special because you've come thus far. You've reached the point where you're starting your university career now. And I'm just going to tell you how special you are by giving you some statistics. Now, they say statistics can tell a particular story. And these statistics might not be very accurate, but it gives you a trend. If you think of all the young people that started grade 1 with you, a Statistician General's report says that there were roughly about 750,000 students or learners that started grade 1 with you, your particular cohort. No, roughly about 1 million, my apology. And of that 1 million of you that started grade 1, only about 750,000, which is about 3/4, managed to reach matric. So matric was last year or maybe the previous year, depending on when you actually did your matric. Of those that wrote matric, only about 250,000, which means 1/4 of those that started grade 1. Only about 1/4 of you managed to pass with a baccalaureate pass or bachelor's pass, as they say. Some passed with a diploma pass and some passed with a certificate pass. But those that pass with a bachelor's pass have the ability or are allowed to do a graduate program or a degree at university. So you are special. But I always say, in quoting these numbers to young people, I say to them, you must think about that other 500,000. So 750,000 minus the 250,000 that got the baccalaureate pass, that other 500,000. Not all of them are as fortunate to sit in an audience like this and be addressed by a Vice-Chancellor at your start of your academic journey. And I always tell people, think of those that fall away along the path. What is happening to them? So when you embark on this journey today, do not just think of yourself. Think of those that you've left along the way, and when you project yourself into the future, try and also work and educate yourself so that you can also assist those that did not have the opportunities that you have been presented. So you are special. But all you know today, as I said before, and all it took for you to get here, it was a journey and it was a struggle. And sometimes, obviously, you wanted to give up along the way, but those people I asked you to thank earlier, they were there. They were there to support you. And again, even those people, don't forget them. When one day you walk across a stage like this, and you have your scroll, and you have your degree or diploma or certificate, and you think that you have made it. You've made it thus far, but not on your own. You've made it thus far because there was always a support system for you. And some of that support is sitting here in this audience. So when you obtain a university qualification, whether it's a diploma or degree or certificate, remember what it means to you and your family, and remember how important it is, not only for you, but also for the community you come from. Now, for the past week, I've been traveling in the Northern Cape. And one of the things I have noticed, like in the rest of South Africa, is that our country is plagued with many, many challenges and many, many problems. And the challenge I'm giving to you as young people today, on the start of your journey going forward, is that you must embrace these challenges. And you, the generation that is going to be tasked with solving those challenges to improve not only your lives, but the lives of those around you. The demographics of both our student body and its graduates, that's university graduates, shows that we are, as a university, as a young university, we are attracting students from all over the country, from all 9 provinces. But the majority of our students still come from Kimberley, the Northern Cape, as well as the Northwest. This year, for the 1,200 and plus places that we have for first years, we had over 20,000 applications. Over 20,000 applications for the 1,200 places that we have here. So, again, I said you're special. You're not just special, you are a select few. You are a select few. What's going to happen to those 18,000 plus students that did not get a place at a university like Salt Lake? Remember that. The important thing, and here I'm going to speak to the males particularly, our demographics of our intake also shows that 60%, roughly 60% of the students that are sitting here today, the newcomers, are female. Young men, what is going on? But I can assure you it's not just here at Salt Lake, it's a trend nationally and worldwide. But I think I'll take the discussion around what we need to do and the discussions which we have to have with the young men, I'll have to take it online. The Northern Cape and the Northwest Province are 2 of our largest provinces, but also the most sparsely populated provinces. But it's 2 of the provinces where we have some of the biggest challenges. Challenges of poverty and inequality, challenges of gender-based violence, challenges of alcohol fetal syndrome, children are born with that, and many, many other challenges. But it's also 2 of the provinces which I believe are richly blessed with resources. We have mining, agriculture, new economies such as square kilometer array, we have alternate energies, wind energy, solar energy. And if I look at the young people of the Northern Cape, Northwest Province, and other parts of the country, I ask myself, on the one hand, we have all these opportunities as young people. On the other hand, we look at the young people of the province, and especially those that are not sitting in this hall today. And we see that those rural learners, not only in this province, in other provinces, are caught in the poverty trap after finalizing their basic education because they cannot find opportunities within the major economies. They are not the lucky few that we have in the hall here today. Therefore, a lot of talent goes to waste because these learners although they might be talented too, are precluded from going to university. And we have to do something about that. Now, those that are here today, our class of 2022, you are fortunate in that free education to a certain extent has assisted in bringing us here, in funding you, but there are many, many others that are not as fortunate. Poverty and inequality is certainly one of our biggest challenges, and I stress it over and over again. But the question is, how do we break that cycle of poverty and inequality so that the young people that are sitting here today, that they can take part in the economy, that they can take the opportunities that the richness of our provinces and the richness of our country has to offer. And that is why you are here today, to make sure that you are educated. I want to give you some more statistics. It was found that the places where our students come from, whether it's the Northern Cape, Northwest, or other provinces, 66%, which is 2/3 of our students, come from households where the income is less than 5,000 rand per month. Less than 5,000 rand a month. A further 17% come from households where the income is between 5,000 and 10,000 rand a month. Another 4% or so where the income is above 30,000. So you can see the majority of our students come from poor households where the parents are unemployed. In fact, 47%, that's what our statistics have shown and our surveys have shown. Almost half of the parents are unemployed. 32%, 1/3 are pensioners, or only 1/3 are employed, and 13% are pensioners. That is why 60 to 70% of our students that are here today are students that are funded by NSFAS. And we're grateful for that. But I always say that if there's a student that does not fall into that NSFAS bracket, and it's a talented student, I will go out of my way, and I know some of my other colleagues are working tirelessly to make sure that we look for funding so that those students are also being afforded an opportunity to tertiary education. So we're so richly endowed with minerals and all these things. But we have to break the cycle of poverty so that when you graduate one day, you will have the skills and the abilities and the qualification to take part fully in this economy that we in fact have out there. But to do this, ladies and gentlemen, and I stress this, to do this, I would want you to be a certain type of individual. I would want you to be a certain type of individual, an individual that has a certain value system. A value system which is based on respect. A value system that's based on respect for yourself, respect for people that you interact with, and respect for systems that you interact with. Because without that value system, you will not have the backbone, in my view, to be able to make a significant contribution to society. And that is the kind of individual that I would like to have as a student at Solplaatje University. Because it's that individual that will break the cycle of violence. And we know that we are plagued by gender-based violence. Our province, and I'm looking particularly at the Northern Cape, we know have that very specific problem. So, my challenge to you as young people, as youth, is to use this opportunity, which we have been presented with at Solplaatje University, to use this opportunity to break that cycle of poverty. But as I said earlier, you can only do it if you build your way forward on a solid base of a structured value system. But that's not our biggest problem, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe you think that the challenges that I've mentioned and the challenges that you have to face as young people is a problem. It's not necessarily our biggest problem. One of our biggest challenges going forward is how do we circumvent, how do we navigate the challenges brought about by this fourth industrial revolution, or I always refer to it as the fourth industrial evolution. The word revolution is for me too violent. Evolution is a slow process, a transition. You can hardly see it, but before you know, you have changed the world. So, for me, that's a bigger challenge than inequality and poverty. Because whilst we are talking about all these social issues, poverty, inequality, the world out there is gearing up for the next wave of the digital revolution. But be assured, ladies and gentlemen, be assured, parents, spouses, that you have sent your kid and your young man and woman to the right place. Because already we at Solplaatje University, we have prepared ourselves to make sure that the young charges sitting out there, that they will have the skills that will equip them to face this digital evolution or digital revolution. The world out there is already talking about artificial intelligence. It's the order of the day, where robotics and robots are taking over our traditional jobs and traditional things that we have been doing. Some of the jobs, by the time you will be graduates, young people, would have disappeared. The terminologies which we use today would be old hat by the time you graduate. And as I said, luckily, we at SPU, we will equip you for this digital world. So my appeal to you as new entrants to Solplaatje University is have a good value system based on respect, make use of the opportunities presented to you, be disciplined, be nimble, and be flexible to make sure that you can problem solve and that you can be ready for this future that awaits you. Now, obviously, standing here, it would be remiss of me not to tell you something about the university called Solplaatje University. It's a young university. This year we will be 9 years old. The first 6 years of this university, or 5-6 years of the university, those of you who live in Kimberley, you would probably just have seen building cranes all over. So people told me that when you come into Kimberley and you ask, where is the university? People just point to the cranes. Now, I can assure you, you will still see those cranes for the next 4 or 5 years, because we will still be building the university for the next 4 or 5 years. The next 4 or 5 years, we're going to focus on very, very specific things. And those things are summarized in our goals, our strategic goals for the next 5 years, which include 5 main goals, 5 main things that we want to achieve. And you will be part of that growth whilst you are at this university. We want to become a research active in very, very niche and prioritized areas. And let me give you an example. I spoke about digital competencies and the 4th industrial evolution. We are one of the only universities in the country. In fact, somebody told me over the weekend, in fact, not only in the country, but on the African continent, that is offering an undergraduate program in data science. In fact, we offer a BSc in data science. There's another university down south. I'm not going to name it because I'm not here to market for other universities. I'm here to talk about Solplaatje University. So we will, hopefully this year, open and launch a center for data sciences where we will do advanced studies in data science. So those are the kinds of niche research that we would like to do as a university. We want to become research active in very, very specific areas. That is just but one. We would like to deepen our academic programs and orientate to quality teaching. Let me give you another example there. This year, because we saw the need for it, we will be starting a BCom accounting, which will enable you to become a chartered accountant. We will also be starting a BCom economics, which means you can become an economist, and so forth and so forth. There are many, many other programs that we are starting, but it's very, very specifically geared towards specific niche areas. One of our goals is to facilitate the development of a digitally empowered university. I can honestly say, class of 2022, you've come to the right university. We certainly rank within the top 3 in South Africa as far as universities are concerned in terms of our digital advancement. Because we have a modern campus, we have state-of-the-art infrastructure to be able to expose you to this digital advancement. One of our goals is to be financially sustainable, but not just only financially sustainable, sustainable in the broader sense of the word. Because as I'm welcoming you here today as the class of 2022, the people that will come after me will have to welcome the group of 2032 and 2042 and 2052. So we must make sure that this university stands now, and it stands for the next 10 years, and the next 20 years, and the next 30 years, and the next 50 years. And before you know it, Kimberley is going to be transitioning from a mining town to a university town. It will soon become a university town. And then lastly, we as a university want to serve the community. We want to be engaged with the community. Because after all, it's not my university. I'm only leading the university. It's our university. And we must look after that university. So young people, if the SRC has a gripe with me and the management, and they don't agree because we don't pay out their allowances quick enough, or we don't feed them the type of food that they want to be fed, and they protest, and some of them threaten to burn down the university, don't participate. Because you'll be burning down your future. You'll be burning down the place where your children and your children's children must come to. You'll be burning down the opportunities which has been presented to you. I'm mentioning it here because it is your university as much as it is my university. So, how do we achieve these things? At the heart of all of this is a commitment from not only myself, but from our colleagues, which you see on the stage, and you see they're all very neatly dressed, very colorful. There's a commitment from them to place the institutional goals of learning and teaching and knowledge production central to a high-impact public engagement. So whatever we do here, we would like to share with you as a community. Although it has been challenging in the last 2 years, 2020 and 2021, COVID-19 has also taught us to readjust. It's taught us to do things differently, to be resolute, to be resilient, like the people of South Africa. We are resilient. We face challenges and we solve problems. So what has COVID done for us as a university? It has allowed us to actually roll out things that we would only have rolled out and started 4 or 5 years from now. It has accelerated our digital ambitions. It has allowed us to teach online. Who would have thought 2 years ago that we would have an ability now to be able to teach classes online? You can sit anywhere in the world and you can log in and we can teach you. And we have done this successfully for the past 2 years. So, apart from the negatives, which I spoke about earlier, there's also the positives. And I'd like you to embrace, as young people, all these things, the opportunities that a pandemic such as COVID has brought. It just hasn't brought us doom and gloom. It's also brought us that silver lining, as they always say, the cloud that has the silver lining. So my challenge to you is to further exploit the opportunities and make use of the opportunities that COVID has brought us. Now, I spoke about our value system previously. I just want to tell you that as a university we also have a mission, and our mission is to become an institution of higher learning which is positioned to produce graduates, citizens which are competent and capable of realizing the aspirations of society. We want as a university to produce new knowledge which impacts on the key challenges of our region. And the biggest challenge in our region that I see, and I said that before, is poverty and inequality. And we have to break that cycle of poverty and inequality. But we must also learn from the resilience of our people in the Northern Cape, the Northwest, and the other provinces to see how they have survived through hardship and strife. We want to be critically engaged with our communities, as I said before, and the discourse of our communities in order to reach pathways for equitable development. When one day you have a degree, you will enter the world of work, and we would like to think that as an SP2 graduate one day, you would be actively involved in the progressive transformation, not only of your social environment, but also have a different view of the world. Maybe slightly different from your parents. Somebody said to me over the weekend, well, we are now in the weekend, but during the week, that parents send their young charges from afar, let's say from Koekenaap or wherever. They come as a young man or woman here. They go home after the first year. They maybe will talk to their brothers and sisters, but they now talk slightly differently. And after the second year, maybe they're more different. After the third year, the parents don't always recognize them because they have become different people. Now, don't become so different that you forget where you come from. But you will be different by the time you finish your degree here at Solplaatjie. You'll be a responsible adult that want to make a contribution to society. You will have a broad understanding of and a commitment to the principles of human rights, social justice, and global sustainability. You should be able to have the tools to be able to solve and address those challenges which I spoke to you about. I said to you that you're special people, you're special kinds of students. Students with this value system which we as a university subscribe to. A value system which we don't want to just extend towards you, but also to all our partners and the people that we interact with. And you in the audience, parents, sponsors, guardians, you are our partners just as much as the students are our partners. So remember a value system which we can take throughout your university life. Become a different individual, but an individual that will add value to your society and your community which you go through. COVID has made us think differently about the world. It has taught us that we can think out of the box. This year, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic Professor Mary Jean Paxson, who's sitting here in the nice orange gown, she will tell you that we're going to use whatever we've learned in the last 2 years in terms of online learning, and we're going to blend it and mix it with what we've done before, which is the traditional way of doing things, and we're going to have a healthy blend of online as well as contact learning. Whilst you are doing contact learning, remember what I said before, make sure that you protect yourself and you protect others around you. So we're going to have blended learning. I'm sure you have been told that during your orientation in the last 2 weeks. COVID has also allowed us to expand our work in the areas of staff development, student support, tutorships, mentorships, quality assurance, assessment, and many, many more. So we're doing things differently now than what we did 2 years ago. It has shifted our focus more towards digitalization and using digital tools more effectively. So when you come to Salt Lake University, then you must remember that there are ample opportunities to grow and to participate, but you must be consistent if you want to be successful. Consistent and diligent. You must be principled. You must make sure that you always keep the final goal in mind. There's lots of opportunities. If you're not focused and you do not keep that final goal in mind, colleagues and young people, you're going to disappoint the very people that are sitting here today, the people that have sacrificed to support you as young people. So I want to tell you my own story. I am from the Northern Cape. I come from a family of 9 children, and my mother was a housewife. But I was the first in my family to graduate from university. I'm sure if I have to ask you the question, how many of you are the first in your family to come to university? Just put up your hands. You've made it thus far. Congratulations. What I've learned is that the opportunities presented to me, I try to take it with both hands. That is why I'm standing here and I can address you. So make use of the opportunities. There are many that will come along your path. If you do not take them, somebody else is going to take them. I have started in the last year a program which I call a talent pipeline program. You are not beneficiaries of it, but hopefully people that come beyond you will be beneficiaries, where we try to target grade 10, 11, and 12 learners. We try and get them university ready so that they are in fact given a better chance of succeeding. Most of these learners would come from rural communities, the ones that come from the families that I said to you earlier. And I want to just mention one as an example. I don't know if he's here. The gentleman that led us into the procession, Mr. Owen Langdon. He's from Namaqualand. Where's Owen? Okay, he's there. Owen is from the Namaqualand region, so we were together in Namaqualand now the past week. He's actually from Okip. He told me whilst we were driving that he, after matric in 2014, he took a lift to Kimberley. He didn't know what he was going to do. He said he had 6 pairs of clothes, pants, shirt, and obviously all the underwear. And he got the lift to Kimberley. He didn't know what he was going to do. He then enrolled for a diploma in retail business management. And today he has 2 qualifications from Salt Lake University. He was the first graduate from Salt Lake University to be employed by the university. So I think he needs a round of applause. But more importantly, he also told me that because he is now qualified, he earns a lot of money, right, Owen? He says he's sharing that goodwill, that money, and he's looking after his mother. Okay, so That is what I'm talking about when I spoke earlier that you as young people, when you finish here, you're starting. But when you finish here, you must remember where you come from and plow back into your community. If he can do it, you can do it. So today is your first step towards that journey of success and that journey where you're going to make a significant contribution to society. When I was appointed here 2 years ago, I presented the council with a 5-point plan, and I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I just want to say to you as young people that this university is a supportive university. This is a university where we would like to cater to the majority of your needs. All you need to do is to study and make a success of your career. We are not here to destroy your dreams. We are here to make your dreams come true. So, success doesn't come easy. You have to work hard. In other words, you don't become from a first year to a vice-chancellor or deputy vice-chancellor or dean or a doctor. You must work hard for it. And I want to tell you today that this university will assist you. You've probably heard it during the orientation week, but we will tell you throughout the year because the whole year is an orientation for you. Hopefully the orientation gave you a taste of what you can expect, and I hope that your experience thus far has been a positive one. You should be having fun. You should be interacting, make new friends. You might even meet your future spouse here, right? Please enjoy university. And I'm going to repeat this in Afrikaans. They say, don't come to university om 'n man of 'n vrou te vang. Kom hier om 'n graad te vang. Right? So come here to finish your studies. Join a club, a society, and participate. Collaborate. Be disciplined and consistent. Remember that moral compass that I told you about. When you have personal challenges, you know, those few words that your mother or father or your grandmother whispered in your ears. If people tell you to go the wrong route, remember those words that your grandmother normally whispers in your ears, your moral compass. We have a great support team here at Salt Lake University. You can see the academics on the stage, their support and personnel staff, and I've recognized them before. They're all very professional. You see our security at the back, they look professional, smart, and they are professional. They serve. We have a student support division that serve. We have a student success framework that serve. Make use of this opportunity. All you have to do is to work hard. Remember, a community back home is watching you, right? Your success is their success. Your generation is tasked with resolving the moral issues of decay, solve the world's problem of global climate change, food insecurity, poverty and inequality. The future is yours. My take-home message, therefore, to you today. Don't let your background and circumstances define your future. Just because you come from a poor background, it doesn't mean you have to stay poor. If you stay poor, it's your fault, because you did not take the opportunities. You are a select group of people that can make a success of your life. Learn and adapt, be a lifelong learner, and continue to learn no matter where you are. Prepare yourselves for an exciting future, a future where you can contribute significantly towards society. As Generation Z, you know what Generation Z is? They don't talk to each other. They sit next to each other and then they WhatsApp each other, right? That's Generation Z. But you can make a contribution to society even at this early stage in your university life. Most importantly, stay humble. Congratulations once again for your achievement for making it to university. It is also an achievement of your community and your family. I look forward to see you all at graduation, whether it is to receive a diploma, a certificate, or a degree. I thank you.
Very much, Vice-Chancellor, for, I think, your most memorable speech that this audience will need to remember and keep in mind for the next 3 or 4 years. And if you choose to pursue your postgraduate studies, I think this is one of the most memorable speeches of your life. I know for now the dots are not connecting. You're wondering, why is this lady saying this? Because you've all been SRC, well, not SRC, RLCs, or you've been class captains, or you've been sports captains, and you've been leaders in your environment. And it's an awkward space that you're in. But as the Vice-Chancellor has indicated, there's a lot of support for you, both from the academic environment, but also from the student support environment. And shortly after the Marimba Band, you'll get to hear more about how the Student Representative Council can support you. I hope that the Marimba Band is now set up. And over to you, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you to the Marimba Ensemble Band. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any more time, I'm now going to call up our Deputy SRC President, Mr. Kennedy Ndebele, aka known as Buza on campus. And he's standing in for the SRC President, who unfortunately could not be here this morning, as he's supporting the Secretary General this morning elsewhere. Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to take this moment and reintroduce myself. I am the former chairperson of the mighty EFF Student Command at Solplaki University. In my first year, I became the chairperson, and my second year, I became a peer mentor. My third year, I became the SRC projects officer, and this is my fourth year, so I am the SRC deputy president. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this great opportunity to extend my sincere salutations to the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of Solplaki University, Professor Andrew Crouch, to the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Mary Jane Buxton, the University Registrar, Dr. Jody Cedras, the Dean of Student Affairs, Ms. Nicole Morris, Head of Schools, members of university committees, parents, but most importantly, the very special guests who are our 2022 first-year students, since they are a fundamental reason we have gathered here today. Normally, I am a man of short words during such occasions, as if I'm wearing a miniskirt while covering essentials. But today, I'll be a man of 1,000 words. In our capacity as the SRC 2021-2022, we would like to welcome you to Solplaki University, and we wish you nothing but the best on your future endeavors. By choosing our university to pursue your studies, you did not make a wrong decision, regardless of how young we are. In addition to that, we are the first university in the African continent to offer data science, which proves that our commitment is to provide the best curriculum. In 2014, Solplaki University became the first of 2 new universities that opened in post-apartheid South Africa. Additionally, it is the first university of the Northern Cape Province. Hence, most of you were skeptical about coming to pursue your dreams with us, until some of you were told that in this university, even if you do not have funding, you can be assisted in terms of registering. It takes pride in the fact that it bears the name of the South African icon and intellectual by the name of Solomon Tekisha Plaki, whose values and ethos the university embraces. Solplaki was built post-apartheid, and it is based on the philosophy of social justice, with the aim of empowering the marginalized and oppressed groups to achieve higher education and play a fundamental role in transforming society into a just, fair, and equal society for all. Prof. Crouch, as the SRC, we vehemently reject the senseless motion by the Dean to give first years who don't have funding and emergency accommodation for a month, and that within that month they should source funding. I mean, what are they going to eat if they go to off-campus? Who's going to pay for their accommodation? Because these are young black youth who come from very poor families. We gave them film offers simply because they are academically capable, and we are a post-built apartheid university. As a result, we ought to take a deliberate decision to cater for these young people and give them necessary support to ensure that they do succeed in their studies and become active citizens of the country who will contribute to the betterment of society. Many young black people are escaping the reality of poverty, unemployment through substance abuse, crime, and high rate of teenage pregnancy as older men tend to take advantage of the home circumstances of these young girls. On the 5th of December 2021, Business Tech reported that according to Stats SA, the unemployment rate rose to 34.9 in 2021 on the third quarter, the highest on record as continued lockdown restrictions, load shedding, and the July riots all impacted employment in the country. Despite the grim state of the country's job market, additional data published by the Statistics South Africa demonstrates that not everyone is affected equally and that higher level of education can often be cushioned in precarious conditions. According to the data, graduate unemployment in South Africa is at 12.5%, which is 22.4% lower than the national unemployment rate. These trends are evident across all major educational levels, including tertiary and school qualifications. South Africans with a tertiary qualification, these are young black people, young youth, in fact, young people with no degree but diploma and your N certificate, have unemployment rate of 23.2%, while the South Africans with a matric certificate have unemployment rate of 36.5%. As the SRC, we will never allow that to happen unless our political consciousness has said goodbye to us. Benevolently, seize this opportunity with both hands first years. In most cases, getting higher education without money or funding is impossible. But here we give you the liberty to do that because we believe that once you have a film offer, you have academic potential. And it cannot be that we perpetuate the status quo of big universities with a capitalist mentality rather than focusing on the youth who are always cited by older people that they are the future of this country. This is a clear demonstration that we are convinced that the future of this country is at risk without the youth. Ensure that you focus on your studies. Be committed to your goals, or you will lose focus and leave Kimberley with a poozer face and an alcoholic certificate, rather than leaving Kimberley with your degree or your diploma. Whenever you lose focus, remember why you are here. Because you are most likely the first generation from your families, and you are the hope for the hopeless youth in your communities. It's a matter of great pride for me as an individual that I've never failed a module nor written a supplementary examination since my inception into Sol Plaatje University. And I'm proud to say that I'll be graduating on a record time. Neither my intellect nor my genius advanced my studies. But the fear of going back home without qualification paralyzed my mind. And as it did, the fear of continuing to sleep with an empty stomach also paralyzed my mind. As the apex student structure at the university, we have inherited a brainchild from the previous SRC, which I was part of. And that brainchild is called the Tusami Tuti Fund, which will be launched soon. This is a project initiated by students for students, as we refuse to be a cohort that folds its arms and just makes noises without contributing towards our constituencies and to aid the university in growing and maintaining its financial stability. The Tusami Tuti Fund was born to raise funds for academically gifted and talented students who struggle financially. Many of the students at Sol Plaatje University are from poor backgrounds, so do not have adequate resources to concentrate on their studies. Finally, as the SRC 2021-2022, we are committed to bringing more initiatives that will help our university and society to grow as they both interact. As Sol Plaatje University flourishes and becomes the best engineer of social development, its graduates become responsible citizens who are able to eliminate poverty, unemployment rate, and racism in society in general. You are bound to enjoy your studies here as we provide all the tools to ensure that your transition into higher education is smooth and successful. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I'll be crocodiling. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. Just to remind our audience this morning, especially our first-time students, that the SRC is indeed the highest student representative body on campus. It is there to help you with all your issues and challenges that you may face along this journey, and they will represent you at university statutory committees, as well as work with you in solving tomorrow's challenges today. Thank you again, Deputy President. I would now like to call upon the University Registrar, Dr. Jody Sidras, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Morris, our Dean of Students and MC for this event. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To our Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor Andrew Crouch, thank you for your words of wisdom that you shared with us this morning. And I particularly noted your call for us to remember our common humanity, and that common humanity is rooted in a set of deep values and a moral compass. And as the Dean said, go back, reflect on these words, as it will provide strength for you in the years ahead on your academic journey. Thank you, Vice-Chancellor, also for your vision and leadership of our university. To our SRC Deputy President, Mr. Buza Ndebele, who represents the university student leadership here today, thank you for your encouraging words, your thoughts specifically, and I want our students to remember this, that you have made the right choice. You have made the right choice. The words from our Deputy President. Also, we'd like to thank with us today the members of the university senior management team, our faculty, members from our faculty, also staff from the professional and administrative services, heads of academic departments, the leadership in the SRC, structures of the university. Thank you for setting aside this Saturday morning to come and be present in the lives of our incoming class of 2022. This is a significant moment in their lives, and I'm sure they appreciate it. Thank you also to the SPU choir and the Marimba band for providing the entertainment, musical entertainment for us today. Today's event would not have happened as seamlessly as it seems if not for the organizing team. A big thank you goes to our events planning committee for making this possible. Parents, grandparents, spouses, uncles and aunts, brothers, sisters, cousins. Some of you have traveled from afar across the Northern Cape, Northwest, other parts of the country. Some of you are watching virtually to share in this memorable moment. It's a milestone in the lives of your children. Thank you for being part of this. To those who cannot be here in person, we know that you are here in thought and in spirit, and we thank you for that. Finally, to you, our VIP guests, our special guests, the class of 2022, we welcome you. You are now full citizens of Sol Plaatje University. You enjoy all the rights and the responsibilities as members of the university community. Thank you for having chosen Sol Plaatje University, a choice, as pointed out by the Vice-Chancellor, the Deputy President, that will change your life forever. Thank you. Ke a leboga.
Thank you, Dr. Sidras, our University Registrar. In closing off this momentous occasion, I have a few parting words for you. University life is too short for you to go virtual. To live the student life, you must immerse yourself in it. You must feel it, hear it, taste it, and experience it. Remember, all of this is not possible with a screen. So I would encourage you to build meaningful and impactful friendships that will yield long-lasting relationships. I encourage you to be an engaged scholar and to make memories that will last you a lifetime. Remember, be COVID-19 smart. Vaccinate, wear a mask, and always sanitize. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to request that we all now please rise for the academic procession.